61, Algebra 2, what we're going to be talking about today is understanding advanced factoring. So we're going to look at different factoring methods given more complex polynomials. Okay, this starts off on page 436 in your textbook. There's going to be two things that we're going to look at, but I'm actually going to show you more than these two methods for factoring some things down. They start off in the first paragraph that says, recall that synthetic division is used, not sued. Let's rewrite some of that there. Used, that's embarrassing. Used to divide a polynomial px by a linear binomial of the form x minus a, which means if we had a polynomial, let's say, x cubed plus or minus something x squared, what's your question? Yeah, but not right now. Not in the middle of me doing this. Okay? All right. And we're going to divide by, let's say, something like x minus a. Normally, this would be like x minus 5 or x minus 4. We'd end up dividing that using synthetic division. We'd end up dividing that by a, right? Okay, if it was x minus a, we would divide the polynomial by a. And that the last number in the bottom row is the remainder and also the value of a. Okay. If the remainder is 0, the linear binomial is a factor of the polynomial. This is known as the factor theorem. Okay. So whenever they say use the factor theorem, essentially what they're saying is use synthetic division. Okay. All right. And so they're going to show you the factor theorem for polynomial, whatever it is. X minus a is a factor if and only if it has a remainder of 0. That's essentially what it's saying. Is that whenever I use synthetic division and I divide it out and I get 0, that means what I originally divided by is a factor of that. Do you follow me? Okay. Okay, and then we have the sum and difference of two cubes. And normally they're going to tell you, hey, we have two cubes here. We want to find the factor of these two cubes. If it is, a cubed plus b cubed, then normally it'll be like, say, like 64x cubed plus 27, right? Two things that I can find the cube root of. What we'll end up doing first is we'll find the cube root of those two things, which will boil down to a plus b. Then once I have this, which is the cube root of this right here, then I'm going to take a, and I'm going to square it and put it there. Then I'm going to take a times b, and I'm going to make sure that will always be a negative. I'm going to get a times b. Then I'm going to take b and square it, and that will go there. This whole thing right here is my answer to this. Okay? Okay, that whole thing there is the answer. The difference of two cubes does exactly the same thing. That means if I have, say, 64x cubed minus 27, two things that can be cube rooted, okay? I'm going to find the cube root of those two things, and I'm going to get an answer, a minus b. Then I'm going to take, so this is part of the answer, the first part, and to find the second part, which will always be in this form, I'm going to take a and square it and put it there, plus, and this will always be a plus in this. This will always be a plus. Okay. I'm going to take a times b and put it there, and then I'm going to take b, square it, and put it there. Okay? This whole thing right here will be my answer to that. Okay? All right. That's essentially it. Now I'm going to pause it here so that I can actually send you. All right. So from what we learned there, we're going to actually start working out some questions. Okay? Determine whether x minus 4 is a factor of this polynomial, 5x cubed minus 20x squared minus 5x plus 20. Okay? So I'm going to kind of go back and forth between this and another page so that we actually have room to work this out. And you should be working these out on your paper. So we're going to pull this up here. And we're going to convert that polynomial into synthetic division. Okay, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Hopefully I'm seeing some heads nod up and down. Okay, so I'm going to take my synthetic division page, and I'm going to convert 5x cubed minus 20x squared minus 5x plus 20 into this synthetic division bar, which means all I'm dropping is the variables. I'm going to divide the coefficients. So what numbers do I need in my synthetic division bar? What's the first number? Oh, I didn't send out the lesson. Well, let me do that too then. All right, so hopefully, now that that's been sent, we can pick this up and continue on. All right, can anybody tell me what my first number that's going to go in here is going to be? 5, very good. 5, what's the second number? Negative 20. Negative 5 and 20. And we want to know if x minus 4 is a factor. So what am I going to divide by? 4. Good. Okay. What number do I bring down? 5. 5, bring down to 5. What do I do between 4 and 5? Multiply. What's 4 times 5? Where do I put it? Under the 20, under the negative 20. What do I do between negative 20 and 20? And get 0. What's 4 times 0? Where do I put that? Okay, what's negative 5 plus 0? Negative 5. What's 4 times negative 5? Negative 20. Okay, what's what's 20 plus negative 20? 0. Is 0 the remainder? So is x minus 4 a factor? Yes. Okay, that is my remainder theorem, right? Okay, very good. So we understand that because there's a no remainder. Let's go back to our page and see what our answer should be. Let's see. It says x minus 4 is a factor of the polynomial. Okay. So we want b as my answer. We can determine it. It is a factor. Therefore, b is my answer. Does that make sense to us so far? Great. All right. Number 2. Number 2 says this is the difference of 2 cubes. Simplify each factor. All right. So we have this pulled up. All right, so I'm going to go over to that other page. Okay, let's clear this out and get our marker back. Hopefully I get my marker back. Okay. Okay, so because this is the difference of 2 cubes, what we're going to do is we're going to take 2x minus 1 cubed minus 27, and we're going to cube root each of these individual items. Okay, so we're going to cube root this, as well as, actually, we just want that. Okay, so what is the cube root of 2x minus 1 cubed? What happens between the exponent and the root? They cancel out. So what am I left with? 2x minus 1. So the cube root of 2x minus 1 cubed is 2x minus 1. Okay, minus, what's the cube root of 27? What? The cube root of 27. It's 3, okay? And we can always pull up our calculator and we can check. Let's clear this. I can go to math. I can go down to cube root, and we can hit 27 and check. It is 3. Okay, good. All right, so we have 2x minus 1 minus 3, because we're going to carry that subtraction sign down. Okay, can I simplify this? Okay, what is 2x minus 1 minus 3? 2x minus 4. Okay, what I want you to remember is that the difference of 2 cubes works like this. It was a minus b, okay, times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, do we see that 2x is in the a position? Okay, and that 4, not negative 4, just 4 is b. Okay, that negative will always be there whenever I'm talking about the difference of 2 cubes. So it is a placeholder. It is always there. Okay, so in order to finish this out, what do I need to do with 2x? Square. What is 2 squared? 4. And what is x squared? X squared. All right? What's my sign that I'm going to put next to that 4x squared? Plus. Okay? What is a times b in this case? 2 times 4. What is 2 times 4? 8. But a is more than just 2, right? A is 2 what? So it's 2x times 4. So I should get 8 what? 8x. Okay, what sign goes on the right-hand side of the 8x? Plus, because that is the form of this. All right? What represents b in this? 4. Not negative 4, 4. So I need to do what with 4? Square it. Okay? So I should get what? 16. Okay? All right, that's what we should get, and I don't know, they got a different answer on that. Then simplify each factor. Okay, I think I might see what they did differently. Okay. This is the way that I would have done this, but I think what they're actually doing from here is that you'll notice that with this, we're going to take a little bit of a step back. Okay. Let me fix this. Okay, because this is the way that I would have done it, but they do it differently. In fact, this is how they end up doing this. I don't like this, but they leave that as 2x minus 1 minus 3 as in my a and my b. So this is my a and this is my b according to them, which I don't like that they do that. But essentially what they're doing with this question is they're leaving 2x minus 1 and squaring that. So they get 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. That's a squared plus 2x minus 1 times negative 3. Okay, well 2x minus 1 times negative 3, okay, or 2x minus 1 times 3, in that case is 6x, 6x minus 3, okay, because they distribute the 3 to the 2x minus 1. So 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times negative 1 is minus 3, and then they do the b squared, which is positive 9. Okay, which in the end, what we have to finish out is the 2x minus 1 times the 2x minus 1. You follow me so far? Okay, so we do still have 2x minus 4, but 2x times 2x is 4x squared, which is the same as what we had. And then we've got 2x times negative 1, which is negative 2x, and negative 1 times 2x, which is negative 2x. Well, negative 2x plus negative 2x is negative 4x, right? Okay, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, plus 6x minus 3, plus 9. And then you go through and you simplify by combining like terms. So you get 2x minus 4, they get the 4x squared, but instead of what we got, you're getting negative 4x plus 6x, which is positive 2x, and then positive 1 minus 3 plus 9. Well, that's 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. So unfortunately, our original answer, it gets a little bit more complicated with the way that they did it, but it's not the same, and so therefore I wanted to show you the way that they did it, because obviously the way I did it was wrong the first time. So we ended up with, on 2, we wind up with A as an answer. Okay. I'm going to make sure that our answer is right there. 2 is A. Okay, did we get the right work written down on that? Yes? Okay. All right, let's look at question number 3. We want to factor this down, and this is going to be a little bit different than what the book shows you. And I promise you that I have worked this one out, and I do have the right work for this. So that should be of little comfort to you. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this question down. Let's see, we have 5x cubed minus 15x squared plus x minus 3. And this is what is called factoring by grouping, which means I'm going to factor this side down, and I'm going to factor that side down. So I'm going to take, if there are 4 terms, I'm going to factor the first 2 terms, I'm going to factor the right 2 terms, and if I get the same factor out of both of them, then I'm going to bring that down as one single term. So what can I factor out of 5x cubed minus 15x squared? 5x squared. So I'm going to bring that 5x squared out. What does that leave me inside? 5x squared times what equals 5x cubed? X. And 5x squared times what equals negative 15x squared? Negative 3. Okay, now, this is a little tricky on this one. I can factor something out of this. I know it doesn't look like it, but if there's nothing to factor out, then I can always factor out a positive 1. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to factor out a positive 1. That's still going to give me my x minus 3. Does that make sense? We can kind of bob our heads up and down about that. Okay, which means because there's 2 of these, okay, they're going to come down as one single x minus 3. And what I'm going to put over here are these 2 outside terms, and that's going to become my next set of parentheses. So I actually get 5x squared plus 1 times x minus 3. And if I FOIL that out, I'll get my original statement, which was 5x cubed minus 15x squared plus x minus 3. Okay? This doesn't work on all trinomials, but it will work on the ones that we're going to be doing today. Okay? All right, and we'll see a couple others that we can practice with. But our answer on this one should be B. Okay? We get x minus 3 and 5x squared plus 1. All right? And number 4, we're going to do the same way. Okay? Let's see. We've got x cubed plus 5x squared minus 9x minus 45. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to take these separate groups, okay, and we're going to factor them out. Okay, what can I factor out of x cubed plus 5x squared? X squared, good. Which leaves me what on the inside? X plus 5. Okay, what can I factor out of 9x minus 45? Let's see. I'm looking at this one. I can factor out a 9, right? Factor out a 9. It's going to leave me with negative 9. That's going to be x what? Well, plus 5, right? Because negative 9 times 5 should give me that negative 45 back. Notice that I get x plus 5 and x plus 5. Okay, whenever I bring that down, do I get 2 of them or just 1? Just 1. Okay? If they match, I get just 1, x plus 5. Okay? What is the other term? X squared minus 9. Okay? Now, this one has a trick to it. X squared minus 9, can that be factored down any further? Yes, it can. Okay? What can it be factored down as? X minus 3, x plus 3, because I had an x squared minus a perfect square. So I actually have 3 terms that I can get out of that. Okay? X minus 3, x plus 3, x plus 5. So be careful. Sometimes we can take that and go down and factor it down even further. Okay, are we good there? Okay, what answer matches up with this? Not B, C. Okay, C. Okay, x plus 5, x minus 3, x plus 3. Let's look at 5. Okay, you guys have got that. Let's come over here. We're going to do the same thing again. Okay, we've got x cubed plus 5x squared minus 9x. Wait, that's the same one I did, isn't it? Never mind. 5. Okay, we've got x cubed plus 4x squared minus 11x minus 44. Okay, split these up. Okay, what can factor out of x cubed plus 4x squared? X squared. What's that leave me inside? X plus 4. Okay, what can I factor out of 11x minus 44? 11. 11. So I've got a negative 11 out here. Okay, I get x what? Plus 4. Okay, now I've got 2x plus 4s. What do they equal as I bring them down? Just 1x plus 4, right? So I've got x plus 4. Okay, what do I get? X squared minus 11. Is 11 a perfect square? No, so I can't bring that down any further, right? Okay, so it says which binomial is a factor. Let's look back at question number 5. Okay, which one worked there? X plus 4, right? Because we had two factors. We had x squared minus 11 and we had x plus 4. X squared minus 11 isn't up there, but x plus 4 is. So x plus 4 is a factor. All right, let's keep going. Which binomial is a factor on 6? Okay, we can do the same thing again. Are we getting a little bit better at this? Okay, kind of rinse and repeat. Okay, we got 4x cubed plus 20x squared plus 3x plus 15. Okay, split the terms. Factor by grouping. What can I take out of 4x cubed plus 20x squared? 4x squared. Okay, what does that leave me inside? X plus 5. Okay, what can I take out of 3x plus 15? 3. So I can take out a 3. What's that leave me inside? X plus 5. So x plus 5, does that come down as 2 or just 1? 1x plus 5. Okay, what's the other factor? 4x squared plus 3. Okay, so what is the desired factor that we want from that? X plus 5. Which binomial is a factor? X plus 5 is. Okay. All right, 7. 7 is a little trickier. This one we actually want to solve. Notice it gives you a list of possible factors. Okay, but can I solve this one by grouping? No, because it has an odd number of terms. Okay, it's, notice I have 5 terms. I can't solve this by grouping. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to solve this using synthetic division. Okay, and we're going to try these different possible factors. Does that make sense? Okay, so I think for this one, I'm just going to do this one out to the side. Okay, so if we're going to use synthetic division, let's do this. Let's see, so my terms in here are first what? 3, 1, okay, 20, okay. The first thing I want to try is dividing by what? 4. Bring down the 3. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 4 times 13 is 52. Negative 63 plus 52. Negative 11. Okay? What's 4 times negative 11? Negative 44. Negative 44 plus 39. Negative 5. 4 times negative 5. Okay, negative 20 plus 20. 0 is x minus 4 a factor? Yes. So let's circle that one. Okay? We could probably take the x cubed plus 13x squared minus 11x minus 5 and break that down. That's a possibility. Or we could just try and use synthetic division again with the same, same baseline there, and just try. In this case, what I would do, negative 1/3 or 1/3. Negative 1/3. Okay, what do I bring down? 3. What's 3 times negative 1/3? Negative 1, right? I'm multiplying by a negative, so I should get negative 1. What's 1 times negative 1? Or sorry, not times, but add. So I get 0. What's negative 1/3 times 0? 0. What's negative 63 plus 0? All right. Multiplying by negative 1/3 would be the same as doing what? Would be the same as what? Dividing by negative 3? But you can try that. What's negative 1/3 times negative 63? So it should be positive 21. Okay, what's 39 plus 21? 60. What is 60 times negative 1/3? Negative 20. Okay, gives me a remainder of 0. So is x plus 1/3 a factor? Yes. Okay, so you guys get the gist on how to do this? Okay, now I'm going to shortcut this a little bit and tell you that your other term is going to be x plus 5, but what you would normally do is what? You would try these others, right? And if you got a remainder of anything but 0, we're going to say not a factor, okay? But they could all have, we could have had several factors in there, okay? All right, let's look at number 8. Factor the expression. What can I do with this? Can I do this like what we had done with the first several? Okay. What will x cubed minus 3x squared, what can I take out of that? X squared. What's that going to leave on the inside? X minus 3. Okay, what can I take out of, what can I factor out of 100x plus 300? Negative 100. Okay, what's that going to leave me on the inside? X minus 3. So I'm bringing down x minus 3. And what's my other factor? Can I break down x squared minus 100? What will it become? X minus 10. X plus 10, and x minus 3 has 3 factors. Okay? Are we getting this? How do we feel about it so far? Pretty up? Okay. All right, last 2. A rectangular solid, which means it's 3-dimensional if it's a solid, right? Has a length of x minus 4 and has a volume of x cubed minus 14x plus 61x minus 84. We want to factor the expression for the volume completely. So they are telling me that x minus 4 will go into it. We need to find out what we get after it's factored. So the first thing I would do is use synthetic division. What am I going to put in my synthetic division? 1. Okay. 61. Okay, what am I going to divide by? 4. What am I going to bring down? 1. What's 4 times 1? 4. What's negative 14 plus 4? Negative 10 times 4? Negative 40 plus 61? 21. Okay? 4 times 21? 84. Okay, comes down to what? 0. Okay, so let's rewrite this, okay, in polynomial form. What is what is 1, negative 10, and 21 as a polynomial? X squared, because I don't really need the 1, negative 10x plus 21. Can I factor that? I'm going to get what and what? What are my first terms in the factors? No. X and x. What are my operations? Negative and negative, because that's negative and that's a positive, which means I'm multiplying two things to get a positive. Okay, there's only two things I can do, which are positive and positive, negative and negative. If I've got negative in here, I know I've got to use negatives. All right, things that multiply to be 21 but add up to 10. 7 and 3, which means our three factors are x minus 4, x minus 7, and x minus 3. Those are my three dimensions. Does that make sense? Okay, we can do that. All right. Now we have 10. Now, is this the addition of two cubes or the subtraction of two cubes? Addition of two cubes, which means, what is my formula? A what? Well, we should get it into a plus b, right? Times a squared minus ab plus b squared, right? Okay, but the first thing I need to do is what to each of those two terms? Cube root it. Cube root it. All right, so we're going to cube root 64x to the 6th and cube root y to the 6th. What is the cube root of 64? 4. Okay. What is the cube root of x to the 6th? What do I do with the 6? I divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I get x squared, right? So what is the cube root of y to the 6th? Y squared. Okay, so 4x squared is a, y squared is b. So what do I want to do with 4x squared here? What's 4 squared? 16. What is x squared squared? X to the 4th. 2 times 2, right? Okay. Minus. Okay. So this has a coefficient here of 1. So what's 4 times 1? 4. Okay. And it's just x squared y squared, right? Okay. There's nothing else there. Plus, okay, y squared squared, which is y to the 4th. Okay. And that should be, if I check, 10. That is our final answer. Okay. Okay, we're done.